Right, so this is chapter 5 of Jamestown, the final level of the game. So in Jamestown, you control this character over here, and you actually move around the screen. It's a top-down vertical scrolling shoot 'em up basically. So when you kill enemies, you actually collect coins and stuff, and these coins actually fill up your Vaunt meter to the top left. Now when your Vaunt meter is full, you can do what I just did there and use a Vaunt shield. Now this Vaunt shield, when you activate it, it eats up the bullets that are incoming to you. It sort of converts them to points as well, but more importantly, when you activate the Vaunt power, the top left meter actually turns into a sort of like orangey gold color, and that shows that your 2x score multiplier is active, and you can look at the multiplier in the bottom left of the screen as well. So this actually adds a very strategic dimension to the game. You can see here that I actually chose to go to the left path, and here there's actually not enough enemies that drop coins to sustain my Vaunt meter. So if you really want to get the best scores in the game, you do have to know the maps very well. You have to understand where the enemies spawn and stuff, and you have to make sure that you collect enough coins to keep your Vaunt meter filled all the time to keep up that 2x score multiplier. This chapter actually looks rather challenging, but that's because it's the last chapter of the game. The good thing about Jamestown is that it actually has a very progressive way of advancing you through the various chapters. For example, when you actually start the game, you only have the first chapter unlocked. If you play on the lowest difficulty, which is easy, you don't actually get to progress through the entire game. When you finish the third chapter, they'll actually tell you that in order to unlock the fourth chapter, you have to play on the difficulty of difficult or above for the previous 3 levels before you can advance. And when you complete the 4th level, they actually tell you that you have to complete the first 4 levels on legendary mode or above before you can progress to this 5th and final chapter. And I'm actually playing on legendary difficulty, which is the lowest possible difficulty for this map. And in this chapter, this was the first time I actually encountered, in Jamestown at least, terrain which could actually get you killed if you got crushed by them, if the spikes hit you, if the game screwed and you got crushed off the edge of the screen by the blocks and stuff. So it was quite a shock to me as well, and I think it's a nice way of introducing a new mechanic to the game at a stage where players are expected to be really skilled by the time they reach here. So I thought that was really cool. One of the cool things about the game is actually the music. I find the fact that they actually use an orchestra score to be a very good choice, because in a classic like say Final Fantasy VII One Winged Angel, it wouldn't have been as impactful if it was just an electronic score. So the music is really great. It feels really epic basically. And the other thing I really like is the graphics. Instead of choosing to go with 3D models, the graphics are sort of like a throwback to old arcade games of the past, sort of like pixelized art. And I think it works really well for the game. It really gives it that kind of old world charm. Oh, and one more thing I like is that you don't actually get unlimited credits. I don't think there's an option to set it. So you get 2 credits, and each credit you get 3 lives. So once you use up all of that, that's it for you. And it adds a dimension to the game that is sort of like in the arcade, where once you run out of coins, that's it, man. You can't go further. So it really puts a bit of pressure on you to try to outperform your previous performances instead of just trying to zerk through each level. One thing that has been told to me is that this game is sort of like Toho. It's actually a Japanese game where you have to dodge a ridiculous amount of bullets and stuff. But it's not that bad. I feel that it's really playable. You don't have to be really skilled at this kind of games to really play this. It also has been compared to Ikaruga, which is a game from Treasure. It's a very technical game where you do have to kill enemies in a certain sequence in order to get the best score. You have sort of like the same technical kind of dimension to Jamestown, but it's not as technical as Ikaruga was. What you do have to take note of is where the enemies spawn and the path you take through a level, because that will affect whether you can actually continue to fill up the Vaunt meter and keep it full in order to maintain a high score multiplier for the game. Alright, so right here I'm actually facing off with the final boss. The bullets actually look like they are impossible to dodge, but the fact is that the patterns are actually really predictable, and because the hitbox on your character is so small, you can actually dodge them fairly well. It just takes a little bit of practice, and I guess having an Xbox controller like I do really helps, because I'm actually using the analog stick to move my character around rather than a keyboard where the inputs aren't as fine-grained, I think. You can actually see that although I've practiced a bit, the game is still challenging. I died to a lot of careless mistakes, and I guess I'm just not skilled enough, but Overall, I think this is really a game that's worth buying, especially if you are a fan of shoot 'em up genre. Jamestown typically goes for $9.99 on Steam, and I think it's really worth paying for the game, especially if you are a fan of this genre. My personal recommendation is to buy it. I'm Wei-Ming from nogamenotalk.com. If you have any questions about the game or wish to leave any comments, please do so in the comments below. Hope to hear from you guys soon, and in the meantime, do watch the rest of this video, which will be me finishing up this boss fight. Cheers!